So, I've actually made two pages over here, two tables off screen just for the sake of this example and to save time. So I have one called Avengers and one called Heroes. So Avengers is, we have Bruce Banner, Bucky Barnes, Peter Parker, King T'Challa, so on and so forth. And I've got Heroes, so I've got, like Hulk, Black Widow, Ant-Man, God of Thunder, Hawkeye, so on and so forth, Black Panther. So I've got myself two tables. Obviously, looking at these, these tables really should kind of go together, like, okay, Bruce Banner is the Hulk, right? But obviously, they're two separate tables. How do I connect these tables? Now, your first instinct is to go, okay, well, I guess I'm making a new field, but stop. We're not going to be making a new field. We're going to keep these tables separate. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the table inside of the table. We're going to tableception this. We're going to Russian nesting doll these tables. So, we got ourselves our table, so on and so forth. Let me find where it is. Is it database tools, I believe? Yes, it is database tools. So, before we used home and create, and then we also used external data today, we're also going to be using database tools. So under database tools, there's this button called relationships. And we're just going to click that. And now it's going to go, tables! What tables do we want in this relationship? Well, I'm going to put my Avengers, I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to add my Heroes and add that in, and I'll close it down. So, as you can see, I have now these two tables, and I can, move them around, click and drag, feel whatever it is I want. Now, the point is that we're going to have, at some point, we're going to have these two tables connect itself. So, for these two tables to connect themselves, there needs to be a couple of things that have to happen. One, we need to have ID that is identical. So, let's just take a look at these right here. We have Hulk, Black Widow, Winter Soldier. We have this field called Heroes that has all this. And then we have these, Avengers, which is, last name and first name. And obviously I can't connect Hulk to Bruce or Banner. They're not the same. What I can connect is this ID 1 to ID 1. So if you have, something that's the same, like say you have two pages that both use the student ID number, or you have two pages that both use phone number or whatever. However it is you're categorizing this. If you have two pages that you can guarantee, that are shared information between the two, and one of them's a primary key, because we need to guarantee that there's no duplicate data. As long as one of them's a primary key, in theory, we can click and drag and connect these two. So let's just simply do that. Let's just click and drag, and now you see my arrow goes to a little plus sign, and it's going to go and say, oh, are we making a relationship here? So what are we doing? We're making sure we're connecting this ID to this ID, right? We're not connecting, hero to last name, right? Or first name. No, we're making sure what are the two pieces of information between these tables that are the same. That's what it's checking. That's what it's asking you for. Is there information that is the same? And then, just to make sure that these things are the same, click Enforce Referential Integrity. So, that Enforce Referential Integrity is making sure that there is that there's no errors. And it's a bit stricter. So, if we have errors here, it'll pop up and tell us what. The most common type of error that you will have, and I guarantee you this will happen, is even though this is named ID and this is named ID and there's a 1 here and a 1 here, chances are this 1 is a number and this 1 is a text. It cannot do number to text. It cannot do number to yes, no. It cannot do number to email or to hyperlink. So the two fields you're connecting must also be the same data type. And if they're both the same data type, and they both have, the same data in them, in theory, this should connect, and we'll see a line go across. So let's hit create. Now, I know they're both auto numbers because I made them offside the screen, so there won't be an error, but I'm just saying that's going to be the most common error you'll get. Hit create. The database cannot lock table because already in use. That is the other error you will most likely get. So, you cannot make a relationship while these tables are open. So, close the table out. Close the table out. Now, I click and drag these guys together. Click, drag, and force referential integrity. Yes, my ID from Heroes is going to ID to Avengers. And I'll hit create. Now, I have myself a one-to-one relation here. And see, I can click and drag it. I can click and go here, click and go there. Wherever it is I feel like going, it'll be there. And you know, and that'll be like that. And you know what? I can even go into, you know, I can even go into the design button, hit relationship report, click it, and now I have a piece of paper that'll even show me what the relationship report is. And of course I can, you know, say that, and I'll save that, and I'll save that as, you know, relationship for, I'll just use a relationship example for the sake of it. Hit OK, and now I have a little relationship example here in my report, but more importantly than that, because I have these two things connected to each other. Now, the reason why it's a one-to-one is because these are both primary keys. If, say, this ID was not a primary key, let's say one side has a primary key and one side did not, I would have a 1 and an infinity symbol on here. You know, those little two circles that swoop together like that. Yeah. So, one side needs to have a primary key. You don't have to have both sides, but you need at least one side being a primary key for this to work. So let me go back to this Avengers thing and this hero thing, and you'll notice there's these little plus buttons right next to this now, where before there weren't. Let's click this plus button. And it goes and says, oh, there's my other table right in there. So if you've ever had a situation of, yes, so that ID1, because see, that ID1 is the same as this ID1. So therefore, Banner Bruce must also be the same person that on the other table is Hulk. Natalia Romanoff must be Black Widow. Bucky Barnes is Winter Soldier. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. King T'Challa is Black Panther, so on and so forth. I have successfully connected these two tables inside themselves. And same thing over here if I were to go on the hero page. Falcon is Sam Wilson. Hawkeye is Clint Barton. The God of Thunder is Thor Odinson. You know, Iron Man is Tony Stark. Ant-Man is Scott Lang, so on and so forth. And I can click and drag and make these things smaller and bigger as how it wants. So, if you were wondering how to do that situation where, oh, you know, click here and then there's information that expands. Well, that's how you would expand information. That's how you can have information on multiple pages and have it be up to the user to expand more information. So, you know, I don't know how many of you went to the registrar's office or the student aid office or anything like that, and, you know, you saw your name and then there was a little button over here and they clicked it and then poof, all your information popped up. Because, you know, do you want all the information to be on the page at all the time, every single time? Eventually, that'll just get hard to read, especially with, you know, nesting inside of nesting. So no, you just want to see only the information you want. And it's the same thing if you look up, you know, let me just take a look and just search something. Let's go with my desktop here. Let's just take a look at it. Yeah, desktop. There we go. There's my folder. Same thing as a folder works, you know, if I only want this information, let's go to that information. Oh, that information. There's the, let's go to the art. And oh, let's go to the chapter pictures or, you know, or vases or references or whatnot. Or let's just go to the cover. The cover! Yay! There it is. So you see, I went from the information I wanted, click the little toggle menu, and it goes to add more, to add more. Same thing you're doing here. You're essentially making a nested search here. The biggest information, now we're going into the smaller information. In theory, we could have another plus sign here and have it go in. You could make a relationship report that is, you know, very more complex than just a simple one-to-one ratio between two tables. But, you know, if you want to, and of course if you want to change something, you can just simply right-click it and edit the relationship. And you can change it. Maybe I don't want this. Maybe I want, something else. Or if I wanted to simply delete it entirely, I could delete it entirely. Of course, once again, make sure you're outside of these things before you change anything about it. Because if I were to try to change something about this right now, it's not going to work. So, for example, if I were to just change, let's try, let's just make a new one. Let's make a, who did I miss here? What Avenger did I miss? Oh! Oh, wow, I missed Sam Jackson, didn't I? Okay, oh, what's his name? Nick Fury, right? So, Fury, Nick, and now, if I click that down, I cannot change I cannot add or change a record because related record is required within Heroes. So I can't change anything until I add a new thing here, and I'll put Sam Jackson, just because Nick Fury doesn't actually have a code name. His name is just Nick Fury. So now when I do that, now it'll pop up. So if you change something here, you'll have to also change something over here as well in order to have it not give you an error. And then, of course, if I want to change something about the relationship, I would have to close these guys out first, because good luck trying to change a relationship while it happens. Let's try it, edit relationship. And you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to undo that. Okay? Database could not lock because it's already in use by another person or process. So, once again, close everything out before you try to change anything with the relationship. So yeah, but that's how you would get two of these tables to talk to each other and have cascading information inside themselves. So, in the next video, I'm going to go over field searches. So, one moment I'm going to, yeah, I'll actually even just use this right here for that.